Right. No, this is a right angle triangle. This box here is indicating a 90 degrees. It is pointing to the hypotenuse. Let's say that this is 30 degrees and the side opposite to 30 degrees is 1. So if this is 30 degrees and the side opposite to 30 degrees is 1, then therefore the hypotenuse must be equal to 2, because at 30 degrees, the the opposite side opposite to the angle is actually half of the hypotenuse. Okay, so if the hypotenuse, if the angle is 30 degrees and the side opposite to 30 degrees is 1, the hypotenuse is 2, and that other acute angle there up there will be 60 degrees to create the 190, and the applying Pythagoras theorem, the side adjacent to the angle would be 2 squared minus 1, that will be 3, will be square root of 3. Okay, so the side adjacent to the angle will be the square root of 3 by the use of Pythagoras theorem. C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. C would be 2, B would be 1, so A now would be 4 minus 3. A squared would be 4 minus 3. A would be the square root of 4 minus 1, sorry. A squared would be the square, A would be the square root of 3, because 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, let's increase this. So what you need to know now that at 30 degrees, the side opposite to the 30 degrees is half of the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse will be twice the side opposite to 30 degrees. Once you know that, then you can get the 60 degrees, and then you can get the other side adjacent to 30 degrees, which is the square root of 3 by Pythagoras theorem. So therefore now, applying the trigonometrical ratios that we know, okay, we know that sine is equal to the side opposite over the hypotenuse. Okay, so therefore now sine of 30 degrees is equal to 1 over 2. And you can prove that in your calculator. Sine of 30 degrees is a half. Because by nature, at 30 degrees, the side opposite to 30 degrees is half of the hypotenuse. That naturally happens. If you physically, construct a right angle triangle and you measure the length, measure the angle, measure the length, that's how they used to do it in ancient time, you will get that relationship. So starting from there now, sine of 60 degrees now. So you don't really have to memorize all of them. What you can just know for sure, sine of 30 degrees is a half. And then you can figure out the rest. You can deduce the rest. Sine of 60 degrees, look, 60 degrees is there. The side opposite to 60 degrees is root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2. Sine of 60 degrees is root 3 over 2. Okay. Now, by practicing it a couple times now, it might become second nature to you. But in the meantime, what you can make second nature to you, because that's why, when I first you just know sine of 30 degrees is a half. Of course, once you know sine of 40 degrees is a half, then you can figure out the rest. Okay, so sine of 60 degrees is root 3 over 2. Tan of 30 and cosine of 30, then you can figure out the rest. Okay, cosine of 30, you can figure out what is cosine of 30. Cosine of 30, 40, the side adjacent to 30 will be root 3. Cosine of 30 is root 3 over 2. Cosine of 40 is equal to sine of 60. All those relationships you can, cosine of 30 is the same as sine of 60. Likewise, cosine of 40 is sine of 50. 50 and 40 adds up to 90 degrees. So you can, familiarize yourself with that relationship between the angles, the acute angles, And you can get what is the rest tan and so forth. The other one that you must remember also is the 45. Tan of 45 is 1. So that same analysis can be done with 45 at 45 degrees. The adjacent is the side adjacent to 45 is equal to the side opposite to 45. They are both equal in nature. So if you put one side as 1, the other side is supposed to be 1, and then you can figure out the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse would be the square root of 2, because the hypotenuse is c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Okay, so you get the square root of 2. So you have 45 degrees in the as your acute angle. You will get, put this as 45, put this as 45. If this is 1, the side opposite to 45 is 1, the side adjacent to 45 is supposed to be 1. And then now the hypotenuse now will be the square root of 2, because 1 squared is 1. Okay. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So you have this root 2 would be the, okay, and from there now you can say sine of, sine of 45 is 1 over root 2. Cosine of 45 is 1 over root 2. Tan of 45 is 1. Okay, so when you are required to, answer question with regards to the common angles, which are 45, 40, 45, and 60, then you can start with at 30 degrees, the opposite to 30 degrees is half of the hypotenuse, and at 45 degrees, the side opposite is the same as the side adjacent to. So therefore now sine of, and the hypotenuse will be root 2. So sine and cosine of 45 degrees is 1 over root 2. Tan of 45 degrees is 1. Yes. So you can, deduce the rest.